Mr. Eric O'Neal is in the midst of the crew tonight.
Yeah, man.
We got him. Welcome, man.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, we got you on the. We call it the crew hot seat.
Yeah,
Right.
I feel like I'm like being reported to the principal's office. Like, what I do wrong, man?
We appreciate you. You know you're a busy man, and we're not gonna grill you too hard. We know what you can do to us. So.
I just won't say anything.
Wow.
All right. So, Dante, can you tell us a little bit about your upbringing and how that shaped you into who you are today?
Oh yeah, well, I don't know if y'all have enough time though.
Give me the edited version.
Yeah.
I took it the long version, but give me that.
Well, I'm a native of Louisiana. I grew up in a Desire Housing Project, and I was inspired many years ago for the karate portion of my life through Bruce Lee, just like everybody else in the early 70s, and Jim Kelly, with the afro. I was walking around the project with a big old afro, with a little rope around my head, Black Belt Jones and Three the Hard Way, and of course a gentleman that everybody knows very well, Chuck Norris. Those are the people who really shaped my karate world. And as a young man walking around the project, when I saw Five Fingers of Death and all those movies, that's what I aspired to want to be. And of course, I've been blessed to achieve all my goals as it relates to martial arts. I achieved a black belt at a very young age. Before I was a teenager, I was a black belt, and I traveled throughout the country. And we was talking earlier about exposure. So that's the reason why I do the things I do now, to expose other kids, because the exposure that I received growing up in the projects allowed me to be able to think better, look better, and have a vision that's a lot more broader than where I lived. And so many people said, hey, look, I lived in a project, but I wasn't in a project. My mind was somewhere else. You know what I mean? My vision is somewhere else, And I'm happy to say that I won the USKA World Karate Championship, which is the same title Chuck Norris won. I won it 7 years. Wow. I won 2 gold medals for our country in the Goodwill Games in Cancun, Mexico in 1998. And then I've been blessed to be inducted into the International Karate Hall of Fame with my model, Bruce Lee. And just recently, last year, I was inducted into the Masters Karate Hall of Fame, which is in Long Beach, California. I was inducted in Anaheim, California. And that Hall of Fame is where all the masters throughout the country are really recognized. And I got inducted last year, and this year they invited me on the board, which is very unusual for someone to get on the board. Haven't even been in the Masters Hall of Fame for a year, but now I'm the vice president of the board, vice president over marketing, which means that I'm over marketing for the entire country, Africa, China, Asia, America, and throughout the country. So I'm excited about that position as well. So.
Wow.
Okay. So I see that you are a GrandMaster.
Yes, sir.
How long did it take for you? How long have you been a GrandMaster, and what did it take to actually receive that? That accomplishment?
Well, that's a good question. I've been doing karate for 37 years, even though I'm 25. So what you have to do is the creative math, drop the 7, add the 5.
Bring it down. We gonna put that on the site for those that want to.
Yeah, for those who young kids who are confused and ain't getting it,
I use it all the time.
All the time. Man. I have a daughter who made 28. Right, and so when she came to me when she made her 25, she said, "Well, Dad, well, we got a situation here." I said, "No, you got a situation. I said, you want to continue to mount up right on." I said, "I have a thing every year at 25. When I make my 25 again, I challenge anybody who's 25 who can beat me." And if they're able to, I'll go to 26.
I think some of our engineers. I think one of our engineers is 25. So we can.
And he have the right. He have the right. This is America. He has the right. He has that right. This is America.
Wow.
That's good
stuff. Well, he pretty much answered all my questions. I was going to ask you who influenced you, but you already told us about Bruce Lee Chuck Norris.
Yeah, but there's some other influences too.
Yeah.
There's some other influences. Growing up in a project, you know, one of my main influences was a lady by the name of Geraldine Jefferson. And you would not think that ladies are into martial arts, but Geraldine Jefferson inspired me because I was one of the young kids who was, they called me Cassius Clay back then. That, I guess I told my age now. I was getting in trouble all of the time. And when I learned karate, the discipline, I stopped fighting. My mom used to come to school for me all the time for fighting, and once I learned karate, I understand how the discipline and the self-confidence built up in me until I didn't want to fight. I mean, I would look at somebody and go, man, I could really hurt you. But I'm not. But I'm not, you know, and as a young man with that type of power, it was very, very, it was very interesting, you know, and I only competed in tournaments, and that satisfied that need, which was the problem before. And we have that problem now in our generation. And right now, what they do to, you know, to entertain that problem is something that's called Ritalin. You know, they give the kids these drugs and stuff like that to calm them down. And what really our children need is activities.
Exactly.
You know, when you go to the schools, there's not a lot of activities in the schools. So when I grew up, I mean, I had choices of playing football and basketball and baseball and going to the park and going to the community center. Well, there's lack of community centers, lack of parks, lack of, you know, lack of all of these things. You know, so it's like, okay, well, let's replace us back in the same position that these kids, when we'll probably be walking around our pants down acting crazy too. So you never know.
You never know.
So we need to find solutions for our children rather than just condemning them and just talking about
Exactly.
them.
Positive things to keep them occupied.
Absolutely.
I have a question. I mean, just listening to you, it's like, to me, it's amazing when there's another person trying to reach out to kids. And I've seen, you know, from talking to you a short period of time that that's what you have done. I'm a volunteer also, and I always have this one story that I can tell others of how I affected a child and how my work or my time has actually, you know, helped them. Can you give us, you know, that one story that, you know, you could stick with and say that I helped this child because I came to them and showed them a different way of life?
Yeah, I have 30,000 examples.
So that's always the one though.
Yeah, but I'm gonna just share with you just one young man. His name now is Master Lernell Stovall. And this gentleman, his mother was a police officer, and his dad was not in his life the way he really wanted it. And so I became like a surrogate father to him. And just recently he got married, and I was at the wedding. I mean, I was, you know, because I didn't grow up with a father, you know. So I've been a father to a lot of kids, and I'm proud of this young man. He's just aspired to be great in the martial arts world. And I know you guys heard of the movie called The Matrix. You know what about the movie called 300?
Yes.
Okay, well, he's working with those people, and he is the chief choreographer for the next movie that comes out.
Wow.
Yeah. So this gentleman is just totally phenomenal. And one of my students is the youngest president of a bank in America, and I can go on and on and on. I'm very proud of the young people who I've touched, and I'm proud of the people who I'm touching today.
That's awesome. Now this is what I want to know. The novels that you got coming out. I don't know if they, you know, novels, comic books. I don't even want to call them comic books because they make them seem less than what they are.
Right.
It's a series of 28 novels, right?
28, graphic novels.
Just tell us a little bit about that. And how is that impacting kids and young adults? How it's going to affect?
You know, there is a movement going on. You know, and I'm going to tell you guys right now that I like you guys to be a part of this movement.
Okay,
and every chance you get on this mic and explain to kids how important knowledge is. Okay, I wrote the books because I understood that, you know, the education and how we're reaching our kids in education right now is not working. And there's an old saying that you continue to do the same thing over and over, and you get the same results. It's kind of crazy, okay? And so what I've done is I've challenged different schools. Like UNO Charter is one of the main schools that allowed me to be able to go into the school system full scale in terms of implementing my program. I have a program called the Lion Man Club. And this program right now is just transforming children in a very, very mighty way. And part of the base of what the program is all about stems from the comic book. And these are the comic books here. But the comic book, okay, is just one portion of what it is that we do, but it stemmed and then it grew to become a graphic novel.
Wow.
And so these graphic novels that I have, I've written 28 of them. And the 28 graphic novels are all about multicultural superheroes. But here's the catch. They're educational. Each and every one of these characters are all modeled behind mathematics and science and algebra and other subjects. So never before in history have you ever seen trading cards or superheroes. Now they have their weapons, they have their powers, they have all this other type of stuff. But this one right here is a master's in education, master's in mathematics, master's in language, master in economics. Y'all like that money?
Yeah.